PLA versus PETG. Which one is the best filament for your cosplay needs? Hello everyone, my name is Kirakaya, back again recording the intro for the 50th time, and welcome to the Has-Been Hotel. Oh wait, that's a future video. Where today we are going to be discussing and comparing two of the most common 3D printing filaments for cosplay purposes. And this video wouldn't be possible without Polymaker, so big thank you to them. I'll have everything linked down below so that way you can select your next filament. But I've had some friends of mine come to me asking for like, what filament should I use for my 3D prints and like my next prop and stuff like that. So allow me to make this video so you can stop asking me. We're going to be talking about a multitude of things such as flexural strength and flexibility, print quality, standing capabilities, durability, accessibility, and affordability. And editor Kira just put in whatever I missed if I missed anything. So first off, let's meet our contenders.
PLA is Polymaker's famous PLA, and it's known for its easy sanding capabilities. I requested this really nice light gray color. Polylite is Polymaker's standard line of PETG filament, known for being more heat resistant than their PLA. And they were nice enough to throw in this roll of their new color electric blue, which looks really nice.
And now we're going to be moving to sit down Kira to talk about our files and how we're going to slice them.
Alright, let's talk about how we're slicing these files. So to get it out of the way, the only things that are going to be different with these settings is the temperature. Now I'm going to be printing everything at the same exact settings for everything just to try and knock out as many variables as possible. Now with that being said, PETG and PLA are two different materials that have two different heat standards, so I'm printing the PLA at 210 degrees Celsius and the bed will be warmed to 60 degrees. And the PETG is going to be at 250 with a bed of 80. So I think that gives you an idea about where the direction of the heat resistance is going to be going. And everything is going to be printed on my Elegoo Neptune 3 Plus and knock that variable out as well. Make sure everything's on the same printer. So speed is going to be the same, retraction, all that fun stuff, infill densities, whatever. It's all going to be consistent. So with that being said, let's start talking about the files. To test the details, I'm using Levy 3D's Mark 7 faceplate. As you can see, there's a bunch of beautiful and intricate details inside this faceplate, so this is a perfect way to test how details print on these materials. We're printing these guys at a 0.16 layer height at 10% with a gyroid infill with a print speed of 30 millimeters a second and a support density of only 25%. And next are these cosplay joints by Plentiful Plops 3D. This is at a 0.2 layer height at 100% infill with a line infill. The print speed is at 60 millimeters a second with an initial of 20. And I forgot to film a transition, so here you go.
We can finally talk about the finished prints. To start off, we're going to be talking about the two faceplates and see which one of the filaments won these categories.
To start out, here's how the print quality came out on the PLA. It came out extremely well. You can see all the tiny little details nice and crisply, and there are like almost no overhangs, except for on the details of the top part because I didn't use any supports, and you can also see some Z-seams. I will take a massive L on this one. And here's the bottom of the faceplate, and you can see some support scarring on the gears there, as well as a little bit of overhangs. But overall, it's no big issues and can easily be cleaned up and turned out pretty nice, all things considering. And here's the support scarring on the edges of the eyes. It's really not that bad, easily sandable, and I think the PLA survived it pretty well. Here's the front of it, and it has some under extrusion issues. I don't know why it didn't happen on any other prints other than these faceplates. And onto the PETG, which is also having under extrusion problems. Again, I have no idea why. And the details look really crisp like the PLA. There might be a little more layer lines here and there, but overall it's pretty similar. The overhangs look a little bit better on this one, but there's a little bit more stringing and the Z-seams are still there. And the overhangs on the bottom here look just about as good, and the support scarring looks pretty much on par. And finally, the support scarring on the eyes look about on par as the PLA.
So the final verdict for print quality, it's extremely close. Each one of them has their pros and cons and just came out extremely similarly, but I am going to have to give the slight edge to the Cos PLA, simply due to the fact that it left less holes in the print, and the print just overall feels just slightly smoother. So yeah, these are both pretty freaking sweet faceplates, are pretty cool. Now let's test out how these guys sand.
I sanded both prints at about 30 seconds at a consistent pace with 100 grit sandpaper and about 3 coats of Rust-Oleum 2-in-1 filler and sandable primer.
Now, neither of these are perfectly 100% smooth because that's an entire whole process for sanding, which leave a comment down below if you'd like to see a full sanding 3D prints tutorial, because that would be pretty poggers. And also, while I've been working on this stuff, I was chilling out on my Discord, so that's also down below if you want to join that while I'm working, or just to do shenanigans. But anyway, feeling how smooth these are from sanding them and everything, I can definitely say that comparing the two directly, there's not a whole lot of smoothness difference, but I can definitely feel it. And also to help knock down the variables, I did the same exact thing on this leftover Iron Man leg that I printed fully in PLA, just to see if the Cos PLA does smooth better than regular PLA. So I'm feeling this guy here. I did the same exact process as faceplates, and honestly, they feel about the same. Even before I sanded that 5-piece, it still felt just as smooth as when I scratched this guy up. But while I was doing it, I did feel like I didn't have to put in as much elbow grease as what I normally would to like achieve like the same result on this. So I think as you go through the entire sanding process of filling and sanding over and over, I do feel with the Cos PLA, it makes the entire overall process more easier. But overall, the PETG does feel actually slightly smoother. And I've been like rubbing my fingers on here, and it just feels ever so slightly smoother. I've also heard from some friends that PETG is a bit easier to smooth as well. So there's also that to take into consideration, but from firsthand, I think I have to give this to PETG. I'm actually a little surprised by that result because I haven't worked with PETG much, so it felt weird that it went better than PLA, but it is what it is. Now I think it's time to move on to flexorial strength. Oh. God, I feel old. So this is gonna be a very simple test just to see how this bends and just see what it breaks at. So I'm not CNC Kitchen. I don't have a bunch of fancy testing equipment to get like exact rates and like numbers and stuff like that. So we're doing some real world testing. So what I'm gonna do here is I'm gonna take the joints here, gonna slap them right here put them about midway on the tables just that way, and slide away, and then we're just gonna bend it. And that survived. Now it does have a little bit of a bend left in it, so tiny bit of bend, but hey, it did not break. And let's test it out with the PETG, see what it does on its first try. Woo, baby, barely anything. Like, yeah, there's a little bit of a bend there, but it's not as severe as the PLA. Let's do that again just to make sure. Yeah, still not as severe. This is way more severe. Like if you look at it compared directly, I'm pretty sure, yep, there we go. You can see the PLA kind of sticking out below. I'm trying to hold it as level as possible, but that is a much more severe angle. I think we have pretty conclusive results that the PETG is less likely to severely bend in the form. All right, so you may be asking yourself, why am I outside? Well, because I don't know. I never go out here anyway because it's very scary. But this is also where we're going to conduct our second test. Because like I think anyone with common sense wouldn't use an actual heat gun inside their house. What we're going to be doing is that we're going to be taping these two guys to concrete and then seeing which one droops the fastest. Now I don't have a very fancy heat gun. This doesn't have like a temperature setting on it, but we're just going to go by speed. And whichever droops the fastest is the less heat resistant, and the point for this round will go to that material. So let's get to doing.
As you can see, I'm trying to go side to side with it as consistent of a speed as possible with a consistent distance, and I didn't warm up the heat gun beforehand to take that variable out of the picture. And you can see the PLA is already drooping a lot more than the PETG, and it's already starting to indent as well a little bit, and the PLA is the first to have permanent fall damage.
I think with that, PETG clearly takes it away. Now finally, we're going to speed run these last two parts, accessibility and affordability. And what I mean by accessibility is basically how easy is it just to throw the roll onto a random printer. The answer is pretty much the same, but there is one key detail that's gonna change this whole category. The good old Ender 3. This is probably one of the most popular 3D printers ever, and it is sitting in my closet broken for the past few months. But I bring this guy up because one, it is the most popular, and two, it has a little bit of a variable that you might need to upgrade if you do PETG. If you see this blue tube here, that is called a Bowden style tube, and screws just fell over the place. And that tube goes directly into your 200-degree piece of metal. For PLA, because it's at around 210, you could probably get away with just leaving the stock Bowden tube on because it probably won't melt in there at around 210. But if you're doing a higher temp filament like PETG where it needs to be around 250, you probably want to swap that out because that tube can melt in there and cause huge issues for you. So that's why you want to upgrade your Bowden tube, which is what I did on this Ender Free. And while yes, an Ender Free can print both materials just fine, as well as like other printers like this, for PETG, you may have to upgrade it. PLA, you don't. So therefore, PLA gets the category of accessibility. And then finally, everyone's favorite category, mine included, pricing. Hello everyone, Future Kira here. I need to refilm like the whole end part of the video because I got the last category completely screwed up. So let's act like everything is fine. So the final category here is affordability. A lot of filming companies have their prices absolutely all over the place. Sometimes PLA is more expensive, sometimes it's PETG, sometimes it's I don't know. For simplicity's sake, we're gonna go with Polymaker's numbers. So if you go to their website, which we'll have linked down below, you will see that their PLA is $21.99 and their PETG costs $22.99.
I'm not re-recording this for the third time because of a pricing mistake. So the PLA is also $22.99 because it's on sale right now, and we're not gonna count the Cos PLA because of it being $24.99. So this round is a tie.
I've been using PLA for most of my builds like this bad boy over here as well as my other props, but I will be moving to PETG from now on because I'm very concerned about heat resistance and all that because I am extremely forgetful, thank you ADHD, and I've already left stuff inside my car and stuff like that, so if it's in the summer, I want to make sure that that isn't warping. But both materials are perfectly great to use, and if you want something that's a bit easier to sand if you're doing a large project, I would highly go with the Cos PLA. You honestly see the results more if you're doing a lot of sanding. And you may be asking yourself, why didn't you test durability? Well,
Faceplate, concrete. I think we can tell which one won.
but yeah, that pretty much does it for the comparison. Now I got a ton of filament left over from this video, so I'm not gonna make it go to waste. So if you like this video and you like projects, well, make sure you subscribe and don't miss any more projects like this Smiles Morales helmet that I'm working on right now. I'm gonna be showing you guys how to make this yourself, and I do have a special announcement planned in this video, so make sure y'all don't miss it and hit that little bell too. But yeah, comment down below what your favorite material to use is and maybe some projects you've done with those materials as well. But in between videos, if you guys want more content, I got way more stuff linked down below, like my Instagram, my TikTok, if that continues to exist, my Discord to hang out in because I'm lonely, and as well as check out my other videos as well because I'm like this close to being monetized on watch hours. Please help me. And yeah, thank you guys for watching the video, and until next time where I fully 3D print a giant statue of Nicolas Cage and I put it outside of your house, and so that way you can never sleep again. I hope you guys go outside and touch grass. See ya.